Page 6, Rockin on G. Let's go through my routine for learning a new piece of music and see what we can find here. I look it over, I see it's about a page and a half long. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. And we got quarter notes, eighth notes, half note at the end. A few accidentals thrown in there. We can deal with all that, I hope. I want to take it one hand at a time first to make sure I know what the hands is doing, each hand is doing. So right hand, I'm starting with 1 and 2 on C and E. That puts my hand in this position, and that's okay. And C and E, 1 and 2 and 3. Right there. The last 2 beats of the first measure, and this happens a lot of places. Eighth notes. The E's by itself, don't hold the C down. Like that, and the next measure. See, what's actually happening is this C belongs in the chord that the left hand is doing. So it's like the right hand is helping the left hand play the chord. And that's all that's for, because really the melody is here. That's the melody. But the C is part of the chord. I'll get back to that when I add the left hand. Second line here, it's here. Just make sure you have all those notes okay, and you don't have to go as fast as I'm going. Just take it at your speed. There's a 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Top of page 7, second measure. We go 1 and 2 and 3. E flat, just reach down with the index finger to E. And now we're E flats. Remember the rule for accidentals, it's good for the rest of the measure. So in the last measure of that line, all of those E's in that measure are flat. And next measure, this is a second line, first measure. Now it's an E natural. They have to have the natural sign there because the flat still applies because it's in the same measure. So now, left hand. The left hand's just keeping a beat, just keeping it here. And they got 1 and 5 here, and then 1 and 5 here. And you're going back and forth. No, let's not do that. When I have a situation, a pattern where I'm going back and forth here with the thumb, I don't want the thumb to have to do all that. So I'm going to use second finger on the G, and I'm kind of in this position. Well, these 2 fingers are wherever they want to be, and these are the fingers I need. So these are what I'm doing. So I'm on 1 here, back and forth. The whole thing is done this way. Now at the end, at the bottom of page 7, the half note, that has an 8V8 under it. So you just go down an octave here. How you finger that one is up to you, just finger it. Okay, and then put the hands together. It's here. So this is what I was talking about. The right hand, the C is part of the chord, because I could do it all. I could do it all in one hand, and that's... See, the C is part of the chord, but the right hand's helping it out, and that's all that's for. About it all the way through. So once I have the notes and the fingering and all that worked out and the hands are working together, and then I go through and I get rid of any hesitations anywhere. I work on those spots where I'm hesitating and I work it out so that it's a steady beat. I keep it slow, I don't know how slow as I need to for a steady beat, because I can speed it up later. Now once I have that, then I think about the articulation. They don't give you a lot. They give you some slurs over the eighth notes, like on page 6, the second line, eighth notes. That's telling you to connect the notes. Now, those are not phrases, those are slurs, and they just connect the notes. Otherwise, they don't really give you much of anything, so that means it's up to you. You have a choice. But that comes when you get into interpreting it. So, do you want to... I could play them disconnected, huh? I can connect them, sort of. There's different interpretations of it, and that's where we talk about interpreting the music. Well, it's a personal thing. You get to know the music well enough that once you got the mechanics out of the way and you start getting into the music and feeling it, that's how you play it. Maybe one time you play it one way and another time you play it another, or you mix it up. Play it differently in different parts of the piece, whatever. Just make sure you don't violate what the music is saying, which means you got to slur these. On those passages, they want those connected, but otherwise they don't tell you anything. Now, dynamics apply to the melody, which right now, most of it's in the right hand. So keep these chords in the background. We want to hear, that's what we want to hear. So when you're starting out mezzo forte, moderately loud. You have the hairpin all across the first three measures, and you have a forte in the next line. That's loud. So you're going to gradually get louder. Now there's not a lot of difference between mezzo forte and forte. So you have to plan this out. Otherwise you'll be forte by the second measure, and that's too soon. So just take it like maybe a measure at a time and go up just a hair. Just a hair. Mezzo forte, just a little louder, a little louder, loud. And then back down, loud. That's the way it goes all the way through. Now, page 7 on the third line, the first measure, that's melody. The left hand gets a little bit of melody, isn't that nice? And then in the last measure, the last line, I should say, you got a hairpin to go back down. It doesn't say how far to go. Just, you're kind of dying away is what you're doing. Now, you're loud in that last line because if you look at the third line down, second measure, you have an F for forte. You don't get another MF anywhere. So you stay loud. So the last line, you start that line loud, and you're going to go down to soft. It looks like there's a P there for soft. So it's loud. Come down. You're about moderately soft on that quarter note, and then soft for the chord, and it's both hands. Here. So you're just getting softer at the end. Don't slow down, just get softer. As far as the speed goes, well, it's middle of the road rock tempo. I think to me that's middle of the road. Maybe that's too fast for you, it's up to you. But there's a note at the bottom of page 6 that you can play this with a jazz feel. Well, to me that means I can do it in a swing style is what I generally say. You see there's different types of music. We have swing music, jazz music, blues music, and all. Okay, well those three, swing, jazz, and blues, all have a similar feel to them in how they're done rhythmically. So we swing the rhythm. It's not 1 and 2 and 3. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You feel it. There's no notation for it. You feel it. And normally in jazz and whatnot, that's how you would just automatically do it. If they wanted to even, they have to put in a note, play evenly, because if they don't say anything, you just automatically swing it. So here, that's what they're saying we can do. The eighth notes. Second line. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Now that slows it down a little bit because you can't do a good swing at a fast tempo. The short notes are too short. And you can't go too slow or it doesn't swing. You know, there's a limit to how fast or slow you can go when you start swinging the rhythm. So we're just in the middle and a comfortable thing. last note with the fermata, you hold that out as long as it feels right. If I do it with a metronome, I just double the value and hold it for 4 counts instead of 2. Otherwise, there's no set length of time, it's just what feels right. Let's play this together very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, I'm going to play it all about the same. We're just checking notes and rhythms is all we're doing here to make sure you have the right notes at the right time. So I'll give us 4 counts, and I am going to swing the rhythm because that's the style of it. 1, 2, ready, go.